everyone, I'm Solakha. I'm the Corporate MI Development Officer for the London Borough of Harrow. This really is a presentation for someone new to InstantAtlas, who's thinking of purchasing in these times of austerity. But I'm sure for all of you there'll be some agreement over some of the points made. I'd like to take you on a journey, and at times it's a very personal journey. But for some context, Harrow, green and outer London borough, pleasant. It's very diverse. 53% of the population come from a BAME, non-white British population. Labour is in Harrow, and the leader is very community-led. Takes his sofa or his garden bench out, depending on the season, to go and talk to residents. Alongside other public sector services, we're facing a budget reduction of 60 million over 4 years. Right, so why local information system? These are some of the benefits that we came up with. We purchased the server edition of InstantAtlas from partnership funds, local area agreement funds, reward grant for anyone who's from the public sector. We devised a project plan devised by the Joint Analytical Group, which is a group of analysts from public health, council and police. And the last benefit actually came from the GLA visualisation session that Liz and I attended. So we revisit these benefits on quite a regular basis to show that we're on the right track, but it has taken us much longer than was initially envisaged. The journey really started last year at an InstantAtlas conference. Tom Smith presented the Oxy packs, as they're called, and the great offer was a reduced data officer manipulation time. So an idea grew, and we went along with this. Proved to be a good decision, opened our minds and aligned where the authority was going to be an intelligence-led commissioning. I want to share with you some of our successes. So if you think of it on a change management initiative, we've had really good leadership. The councillors have all been behind us. They're really happy with the thought of national data all in one place for them to go and have a look at. And they're also thinking of a school of competition to launch with. We've had well-attended staff workshops. We've listened to feedback and worked on there. There's been creative use of resources. There is no one local information officer. It's a matrix operation which comes from 2 part-time performance officers and a part-time GIS crime analyst who's got GIS skills on there. This is something that we'll look at going on to business as usual. Right, some of the lessons learnt. Do not try and implement a project because your IT is being outsourced. This year, our IT was outsourced to Capita, and although it was successful for the council, it wasn't for us as a project. We've had to jump through hoops. It's taken a lot of our time just to get the right individuals to discuss the project. So really for all of you, how ready is your IT function for an LIS, Local Information System? I said think creatively with your budget. For example, have you thought of ongoing training needs that the team has? Things like that. And at times it seems really lonely. You think you're the only one in the authority just plugging away, but there is a life external to your organisation. There's communities of practice to join. When I first started, I went to Newham. They were very welcoming to us. And there's authorities that use InstantAtlas. There's health authorities, there's SIPVA, there's the GLAs, we have presentations today. Asked to share their data and their expertise. Then suppliers, and I don't think we're that good in the public sector on this, use your suppliers and their knowledge. So if Pierre, who's our relationship manager, Pierre, doesn't know, he'll find out. And use Oxy. So use them and ask lots and lots of questions. They've heard it all before, so it doesn't matter. And lastly, you become a jack of all trades and master of none. Right, this is our site, and as you can see, it's not a great web design. It has to obey corporate standards, and this site wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had Pierre and Jan and David, who actually devised it according to our needs. We haven't gone live. We've had an internal launch with staff. We've had some good feedback from that. We actually go live in April, so we're having a very phased approach, which is something I didn't really actually understand when we first started. So we've got 6 of the most requested profiles, and as Stephen was saying, these are what individuals come to us for: borough profile, crime. Harrow is very family orientated borough. We've got one of the highest performing London schools in there, but the population is changing significantly. 67% of the school population belong to BAME, non-white British population, and there's 160 languages spoken at our schools. Although we're not classified as a deprived area, 3 of our super output areas are in the top 20 of the country. And health issues differ where you are in the borough. So in Wealdstone, you have 7 years less life expectancy than in Pinner South. And Harrow is a low crime area, so it's high priority for our residents. Burglaries on the increase. So we haven't gone for live links. So this is just some of the views that we've got of Harrow. This is a table you can't actually see of ethnicity. We've also included our customer segmentation. We've segmented Harrow into 8 customer types. This is with Experian customer segmentation, so that segments G and H have a high propensity and reliance on public sector services, and that's across the school. So that's public health, police, crime information, and council services. Whereas segment F, multi-generational households, which make up 1 in 4 of households, significantly tend not to use public services at this moment. But this is the future growth that we've got, so at the moment we're unsure about what's going to come into us. This is what we're going to work on, and as Stephen said, we used Oxy, so we have the national information, so we can work much more on local information. So at the moment we're working internally with staff and councillors and partners, but what we want to do is work with the voluntary agency and enhance their ability to bring external funding into the borough. And to work with schools and education institutions for them to gain a better understanding of Harrow, and we want to work with local residents to give them more, to make them more informed of the local decision-making process. This is a quote from our leader as part of the corporate plan, and it's really about commissioning and getting ready for commissioning. And I really do believe that HaInfo, which is our systems name, will help us on this journey. Thank you.